So it is the home side that get us underway. Liverpool, as you would expect, in their red. London City Lionesses in purple. Chance to bring in our summariser for this one, Keris Harrop, and obviously Liverpool have made a couple of new signings, and interesting to see them both starting this afternoon, including a new goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think it's quite brave to throw in a goalkeeper straight away, but I think that's the purpose of the January window. You know, if certainly Liverpool, they need improvements. You know, haven't won all season so far, sitting bottom of the league, so you need those January players to come in and make a real impact straight away. So Gareth Taylor's obviously trusting both Bergstrom and Falk to do that. He's brought them in for a reason. They obviously add quality and experience to the team. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do on their debuts.
Early throw-in for London City Lionesses. That throw from Jana Fernandez right in front of her new head coach. Speculation is that Jocelyn Precheur wasn't doing a bad job, but that the club wanted to move in a new direction. They wanted to be playing a more Spanish style of football, so have replaced a Frenchman with a Spanish head coach. Here, though, it's a burst forward from Kerry Holland really early here, and a strike that is blocked away by the face of a London City Lionesses player. But it looked as if it was really opening up there for Liverpool so early in this game. A positive start for the home side, and a few touches for Alice Bergstrom, another of those new additions to this Liverpool side, in a battle there on that wing. But what a great start for Liverpool.
Yeah, it was a good run there from Kerry Holland, running down the wing there and just driving inside, and you can see what she's trying to do. She's trying to guide it with a bit of curl into that left-hand corner, but good defending from Sangare. I think she was really impressive in the first half of the season. She's an excellent defender, and I'm pretty confident she'll go on to have a solid display, not just in this game, but the season going forward. But yeah, real good block there from her.
Just taken away from Gaoro. She will take the resulting throw-in. In fact, she will leave it for one of her teammates. I would say that she's new to London City Lionesses this season, but just assume that the players are new unless you're told otherwise. They made plenty of signings, understandably, in the summer, having been promoted. Ball comes out to Godfrey. Fernandez. Oh, and there's a bit of a mistake by Sangare that requires her goalkeeper, Lete, just to mop up there.
The commentator's curse that was, wasn't it? I was just praising how good she was, and they nearly gave her a silly mistake away, but luckily Lete was there just to clear up for her, as you say.
I was going to say, I thought you might have a comment on that, considering your position on a pitch. Now it comes out to Rodder. With Fisk back for Liverpool, the captain. First appearance since the 16th of November. She's been out with a calf injury. Gareth Taylor has had a lot of injuries to contend with, and is missing his top striker for this game, which will be a huge blow.
Absolutely, you know, Olsen's had a real good start to the season, 5 goals and assisting as well. So yeah, I think he'll be really disappointed to lose her, but bringing in Bergstrom, let's see if she can have the same impact that Olsen did in the first half. But yeah, ultimately Liverpool have been unfortunate with injuries. They've lost some key players in the middle as well, the likes of Herbinger through some big injuries. So yeah, as much as they are sitting bottom of the table, there's definitely been some element of bad luck, but I mean, that's the importance of the squad depth, isn't it? Is having players that can just come on and replace those players and fit in seemingly. So yeah, I think the January window is really important for Liverpool. It's interesting, London City haven't made any signings as of yet. I guess they did a lot of their business in the summer, didn't they? So it will be interesting to see whether they do any more business in the January window.
Yeah, they were busy. Like the new head coach asked for some new additions. Ball with Fisk. A touch from Clark. And Nikita Paris is the furthest player forward for London City Lionesses. We weren't quite sure how they were going to line up.
Yeah, he's not scared to come in and make changes. I think the likes of Izzy Goodwin will be disappointed. She's certainly didn't have a bad half to the season, contribute with some goals, but I think that's what happens, doesn't it, when a new manager comes in? They have a fresh view on all the players, and yeah, from experience, players definitely up their game when a new manager comes in. So ultimately, maybe he's picked the players that have trained the strongest, and he feels are the ones to go and beat Liverpool today.
Liverpool have a free kick. Forward from Fisk comes back to the captain. Clark. To Nagano. Now Bergstrom manages to keep her balance. It's nice to flick it out to Capox. Referee, I think, just seeing a little pull there. Blow of her whistle. Sangari back to her goalkeeper. Now with the defender who's on loan from Lyon. Forward from Fisk. Ball that was being chased by Holland, but Fernandez gets there first. But Liverpool in these early stages, Keris, just as, in fact, London City Lionesses do play it into their opposing half, they've largely been the attacking team, haven't they?
Yeah, they've had a good start, keeping possession of the ball, making London City run around and try and win it back. Yeah, I think hopefully the players have just seen it as a fresh new year, fresh start. You know, I think some of them may have felt really down, demotivated after how the first half of the season has gone, but you know, as a player, you've just really got to move on from it. There's no point in dwelling on the past and the past fixtures. This is a fresh start, and certainly with some new signings coming in. But yeah, no, overall good start from Liverpool. It's just good to build confidence being on the ball.
Gareth Taylor had admitted it was a bit of a difficult sell to new players to say come to a team bottom of the Women's Super League, but he said it's what they needed, some new players to come in. The ball forward is intercepted. Liverpool regain possession midfield. Bergstrom, say another one of those new additions. A Swedish player who's come in from Herken. Infield to Aslani. Touch from McLean, comes out to Woodham. Now with Nagano. To Linari. Kumagai for London City. Now Aslani back to Kumagai. They're struggling to get it out of their own half, aren't they, London City?
Yeah, to be fair to Liverpool, they're trying to get close and press. You can see here from Holland. McLean's up quite high as well. So just choosing their moments when to press. But yeah, I think London City just need to get on the ball. They haven't had too many touches just yet. We mentioned it's been a lot of Liverpool possession. I think out of possession London City, I remember from the first half of the season watching them a few times. For me, they can just be a bit more aggressive and press. They certainly need to do that to Liverpool today.
Gaoro maybe a little bit too aggressive there.
Sloppy ball from Sangare, putting her under a lot of pressure there. A good opportunity now for Liverpool to get some bodies forward, the likes of Clark and Fisk, and some of the more players that have got a physical presence.
What can Liverpool do with this free kick? Holland to take. Squares it to Woodham. Back to Falk. She gets another touch of the ball as well. What will her nerves be like, do you think? Do you think she's a pretty cool customer?
Yeah, I think she's experienced, isn't she? So, you know, as you get a bit older and more experienced, your nerves are a little bit less. But it's her debut and first time playing the WSL. I think naturally there will be some nerves there, but you know, overall she's probably a confident character, got plenty of experience, and I think she'll be quite pleased. She's hardly had to touch the ball with her Liverpool teammates keeping the ball well. So yeah, it definitely helps her to relax, certainly, rather than being under pressure from London City.
Will that remain the case for the rest of this match? Only the early stages of this game. But London City do come here having not scored in their last two. Here, there's a real chance for Liverpool. I think the goalkeeper, the referee just probably allowed play to continue there. As there was that run from Capox following the pass from Nagano. Sliding in was Roda, but the ball was released to Bergström.
She's just looked for it's a cross-come shot, isn't it? I'm not too sure what was in her mind there. I think she was looking for a cross, but there weren't really any bodies forward for her, so I think the shot could have gone on there, despite it being a difficult angle. But I think already London City just look a bit nervous. They've played a few sloppy passes already out from the back. Sangare earlier, and then Fernandez, so yeah, they just need to keep their composure and tidy up their passes. Maybe it's the winter break, I'm not sure. Maybe it's he's always a bit scrappy, sluggish, that's the word, sluggish and a bit scrappy, you know, coming in after the Christmas break. But they just need to tidy up their play, certainly playing out from the back.
Saw a puff of the cheeks from Gareth Taylor there, the Liverpool head coach. Spoke about his team fighting their hardest to get back up the table. After 11 games played, they're certainly not cut adrift at the moment.
No, I think you mentioned it earlier, if they win today, they can move up a place. So it's quite tight in the league overall, you know, whether it's those middle places or the places near the bottom of the league. So yeah, I think they've just got to look positively. They've made some good signings already now, you know, demonstrating some good play on the ball. And like I said earlier, you can't focus on the past, just got to look forward and have that resilience and that desire to beat the challenge, I guess, beat the challenge of moving out of that relegation spot.
Forward from Linari. Now a run for London City on the left-hand side, a decent cross. Paris tried to get there, Fisk gets there first. Holland is helping out. Holland goes down. And the referee, Phoebe Cross, blows her whistle. Understandably, will be concerned if this is a head injury. Headed clear by Holland, and then she was sort of dipping to try and get her head onto a ball that Grace Gaoro was aiming for with her boots.
Yeah, I don't think Gaoro didn't have her foot up too high, but I think Kerry Holland just gone all in, going down to try and win the ball overhead. But yeah, a foul, but definitely not a yellow card. I think both players were just trying to go for the ball.
Kerry Holland, one of the players who's been with Liverpool for a long time. One of those players who was part of the promoted Liverpool team. London City Lionesses, of course, promoted at the end of last season. That was under Jocelyn Preshaw. Now it is a new head coach who watches on. Field from Aslani to Kumagai. The pressure from McLean means that London City choose to turn it all the way back to their goalkeeper. With Lanari again, one of those stars in this London City Lionesses team that's littered with star names. I think the question was how a manager was going to get them to gel as a new team in a new league.
Yeah, Lanari as well has been very impressive in the first half, and you can see just for that ball there, she's played through the quality she possesses, and again there. Yeah, I think it's always difficult, isn't it, when you've got a team full of star names, trying to keep them all happy. You know, you look at the bench today, and you've got the likes of Katie Zeller, Milana Kennedy, Izzy Goodwin now on the bench. You know, these are all players that certainly Izzy Goodwin, you know, had a real big impact last season and in the start of this season too. So, yeah, it's very difficult as a manager to manage that. You know, I've been part of a team myself at Birmingham where we had lots of star players back in the day in 2011, 2012, and it's just about, you know, the players knowing their roles, you know, when they come on, that they're going to have an impact, and yeah, just making sure the players feel valued and they're part of the squad, which, you know, hopefully Eda Castor and obviously Becky Langley's coming as well. Good opportunity for her from Newcastle. So, yeah, I think both of them can come in and have an impact at Women's Day.
Falk to Fisk. I'm saying I wasn't quite sure what the weather was going to be like over this weekend. There are a few players out there with long sleeves and gloves on. It is, after all, early January, so I'm sure it's a bit chilly, but I think there were fears there might be icy conditions, maybe snow even, but you can see it's chilly, fairly pleasant. Certainly no danger of this game being called off. Wooden turns it back to McLean. Gareth Taylor had spoken about his players having to cope with a lot of issues, of course, off the pitch as well as on it at the start of this season, that he felt may have affected them, may have been a challenge. A few boos ring out from the home supports.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think Bergsham's done anything wrong there. I actually think it's Corrales has just gone down and kind of drew the foul, really, so I can understand why they were booing at that point.
Forward from Fisk. Played out to Woodham. Might bounce back to Woodham. Launched up the pitch from Clark. Fernandez. It's a run from Godfrey.
It's all Liverpool so far, isn't it? I think they're doing well to keep the ball, and even when they lose it, just like there with Kerry Holland, they're working hard to win it back. And they've definitely showing good signs so far that they're, you know, motivated to want to do better than how this first half of the season has gone. So yeah, real positive start from them in this first 20 minutes.
Heard from Freya Godfrey recently for London City Lionesses saying, of course we're not getting relegated. You know, this is about building the foundations to maybe next season, who knows, be trying to win the Women's Super League. As it's chased by Gayoro, who finds Godfrey. Fisk stays with her. They're strong, as you say, so far, Liverpool, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing well, working hard and being resilient to defend. Good pressure there from Grace Fish just to get a body across, and yeah, final touch comes off Godfrey. But yeah, going back to what you were saying about what Freya Godfrey said, I think the amount of investment when Michelle Kanga's put into the club, they definitely don't want to be looking at the relegation zone. They'll be looking certainly for mid-table finish, if not higher. But yeah, I think that's the minimum expectation, and whether that was the reason why they released Jocelyn, because with the investment, maybe they thought he hadn't got the team as high up as they should have been, or is it just because they wanted a Spanish style of play? I guess we may never know the true reason, but yeah, I think for London City, the investment they've put in, their ambition should definitely, as a minimum, to be finishing mid to top end of the table.
Comes to Bergstrom. Bergstrom turns. Enderby, who was up there. Now a long pass looking for Nikita Paris. Has Clark for company. Liverpool getting that 2-2 draw against West Ham in their last league game before the winter break. Had to come from behind twice in that game. As Holland chases a pass, but Lete gets there first. It would have been a very expensive defeat, wouldn't it, for them to have lost against West Ham, Liverpool, because of where the two teams are in the table.
Absolutely, I think it was a last gasp draw, wasn't it? I know Liverpool scored late in the game, but it just shows that Liverpool do have that resilience to come from behind and keep going until the very end. But yeah, you're right, I think if they'd have lost that game, that's a big loss, certainly leaning into the latter part of the season. We'll see how Liverpool go. Obviously, they've made a real positive start so far in this game, but those just having that additional point with the draw with West Ham could prove really crucial come the end of the season.
Pass was looking for Capox. Intercepted on its way. Now back to Linari. Lete. Sangare. One of the Japanese internationals out there for Kunagano on the ball at the moment. Back to the statuesque Jenna Clark. You know what it's like to be a tall defender.
Yeah, she's definitely a few inches taller than me, though, isn't she? But yeah, real presence at the back, Jenna Clark is.
Finds Capox. Out to Bergstrom. Interesting with Liverpool having a new goalkeeper, having Bergstrom starting as well this afternoon. Of course, London City with lots of changes in the dugout, but the changes for Liverpool coming on the pitch, and how easy is it for the players who are already at Liverpool to get used to new players, alongside them?
Yeah, it's sometimes it can be difficult. I think a lot of people don't like change, whether it's within the playing team or the coaching staff. So I think that's what the January window brings, doesn't it, for teams? You're bringing in that quality to come in and make a real difference. So I think for players who are already there, it can be quite don't know what the word is, but yeah, you can take it as a bit of a shock if you think, oh, these players are just coming in and going straight into the starting lineup, but that's the exact reason why they're brought in, you know, especially in Liverpool's case where they need players to come in and make a real impact. But you know, for the Liverpool bench, you still got players that can come on and make a difference and get some minutes, but you know, ultimately, like Gareth Taylor said, he had to add. Certainly with the injuries they've had, they needed more depth to the squad. But yeah, ultimately, you're still welcome into these the new players as a player, but just ultimately increases that competition, doesn't it? And you know, as a player, you want that in the team as much as you want to play. You also want competition to push you and make you better. So I think a lot of the WSL teams will do that in the January window.
With Sangari again, she chooses to turn it back to a goalkeeper, to Linari. Flick forward, and this is a run that could find the cross for Paris. Grace Fisco is there to take it back out of play.
For the few times Lionesses City have attacked, there's not many bodies in the box. I think you can keep Paris up top, seems quite isolated. I think obviously Rodder is a more defensive player. Giora can probably bomb on and get forward a little bit more, but I think they just need to commit more bodies forward because keep Paris alone up top isn't gonna cut it. She needs support from her teammates in and around her.
Especially when we've already mentioned how tall some of those Liverpool defenders are.
I'm sure at some point we'll see the introduction of Izzy Goodwin. Obviously, she's really tall, got pace to burn. So you know, certainly with how the game goes, I'm pretty confident we'll see her come on at some point, and whether it is Paris that stays on. But yeah, just having that extra physical presence in the box, like you say, against the likes of Jenna Clark, you probably need that height, don't you?
Forward from Linari, it's Godfrey who's chasing this one. Cross, and he goes as far as McLean. Yes. To Hollands. I think maybe hoping to find Bergstrom at the far post with that delivery. But even though it's goalless at the moment, I think Gareth Taylor will be fairly happy with what he's seen from his team so far.
Absolutely, I think his team have certainly been in possession of the ball a lot more. They've got into the 18-yard box and the final third more than London City have. So now I think he'll be pleased. Kerry Holland's made a good start. You can see what she's trying to do there, trying to drift the ball into the box. I think just need to be a bit more patient sometimes. You know, don't rush to an outcome. Just keep the ball a little bit more. Allow those chances to open up a bit better.
And she probably had the time to do that, didn't she? Well, he's communicating in English with some of his players. I think some of them might be able to talk to him in Spanish as well. Out to Bergstrom. I imagine it would have been quite difficult for both of these head coaches, in fact, to prepare for this game. Not really knowing, obviously, you know, the Liverpool manager wouldn't have known what the London City head coach was planning to do, and with the changes that Liverpool have made in terms of personnel, then the London City Lionesses head coach wouldn't have known quite what to expect from the home team.
Yeah, I think obviously with both teams making changes to the starting lineup, then yeah, I imagine they're probably prepared for something a little bit different. But either way, I think you still need to stick to your team's plan and the tactics. You just ultimately play your best football and come up against whoever you're coming up against. But yeah, I agree. I think Gareth Taylor might not have expected some of the changes that London City have made, and maybe Eder Castro didn't realise that the two incoming signings would go straight into the team. But like I say, as a player, you just have to focus on what's in front of you and play the game regardless.
Fernandez just leaning into Holland. Gaoro's helping out as well. Shimizu. Fisk. Liverpool remaining in the London City half of the pitch. Touch from Enderby. Finds its way out to Holland. Holland with a promising cross. It's Sigare who got ahead to it. Liverpool trying to play it back into the 18-yard box from that far side. Now it's with Bergstrom. Gets a deflection on its way out of play. That passage of play leads to a corner for the home side.
Yeah, really good passage of play there. Nice interchange between Bergstrom and Nagano, and again, she's just done what she can. You know, London City have got bodies behind the ball, but she's won a corner for her team. But yeah, real positive play from Liverpool. I think they're certainly deserving of a goal so far. They haven't had clear-cut chances, but let's see if they can make the most of this corner.
So a corner for Liverpool just after the half-hour mark, and in swinger. It's Peter Paris who helps it clear with her head. And turned out on this near side. Mentioned the 2-2 draw against West Ham for Gareth Taylor's side, and both of the goals they conceded in that game were from corners. We know how dangerous set pieces can be and how effective they can be if they're taken right.
Yeah, I think they need to be careful today. I think London City are ranked second in the WSL for goals from set pieces, so it's interesting that you bring that up, because certainly from the first half of the season, London City have been effective and clinical from set pieces, so definitely something Liverpool need to be mindful of and improve their record from the first half of the season for sure.
Forward to Holland. Again, Fernandez is the player she has to contend with. Back as far as Fisk, and will go out of play. Of course, London City Lionesses' first goal back. I'll say back in the Women's Super League was a penalty at the Emirates. Gave them the lead against Arsenal in what looked like it might be a bit of a surprise result. It didn't turn out to be in the end.
London City, they've had some good results, certainly more towards that first half of the start of the season. They beat Spurs 4-2 in a game, beat Villa 3-1. And I think the last few games before Christmas just dipped off form a little bit, losing to Leicester and losing to Brighton. I think those are games they probably expected maybe to win. Certainly with beating teams like Villa and Spurs. So yeah, I think it was probably a disappointing end really for London City before the Christmas break. So they'll certainly be looking to make amends and try and get off to a more positive second half of the season.
Well, the new head coach had spoken about wanting to play sort of attacking football, possession football. I guess the kind of football you see from Barcelona, for example. Which
not sure we've seen that just yet in this game, have we?
I think that's the kind of football that every head coach would love to play if they can. Here, the ball was with Fernandez, who turned it back to a goalkeeper, and I think Kerry Holland, who's having a brilliant first half, I have to say, was there to just see if she could put off Lena Lette. Now with Capox. Bergstrom, saved by the legs of the London City Lionesses goalkeeper. I think there may have been an offside in the build-up to that attempt on the London City goal. The flag raised by the referee's assistant.
I think both wingers and wide players for Liverpool have had a good start. Kerry Holland down this left-hand side. Bergstrom's had a real positive debut so far. You know, she's creating chances, getting forward, definitely not scared to get crosses into the box. So, yeah, I think good half for those two so far. And, you know, going back to Kerry Holland, and you were mentioning earlier about the fact she's been at Liverpool for a long time. I think that's a real advantage for teams to have. You know, players don't stay at clubs for very long these days, you know, whereas for Holland, you know, she's been at the club for a number of years. So certainly with the position they're in, fighting a relegation battle, you need players like Holland who actually probably care about the club. They understand what it means to be at the club. I think that's kind of dying trade, really, you know, with the amount of changes each year and the amount of foreign players coming into the league. You know, sometimes you need those players who really know the badge and want to fight for the badge, and you can see that already with Kerry Holland. You know, the way she's working hard and pressing and driving the team. I think she could be really influential for Liverpool in this second half of the season.
Yeah, I think even with homegrown players, they are often only signed to kind of 2-year contracts at the most, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just the nature of the game now. You know, it's really difficult for the youngsters to come in and even earn a pro contract straight away, because there's just so much competition, isn't there, in the squads, which is great. It's great for the league, but yeah, it makes it difficult for the youngsters coming through.
Grace Gayoro there, the London City Lionesses player involved in that move, is a player who, talking about a player who sort of stuck with a club, was at Paris Saint-Germain for a really long time. A few of those players who aren't able to feature today, just keeping themselves warm in the stands. Might Gareth Taylor be able to achieve with a fully fit Liverpool squad?
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a lot of players, isn't it? Just sitting in the stands due to injury. So, yeah, I think it has made a real difference in saying where they are in the league. I mean, Sangara, was that a yellow card?
Yeah, first booking of this game. And Sangari, player who gets it. Enderby was a player who she fouled.
And Enderby probably should have got a yellow card there as well. She was the
push.
Yeah, she initially pushed Sangara, and I think she just pushed her back. So the referee missed that one there.
So a booking for the London City Lionesses defender, a free kick for Liverpool. As we head a little bit closer to half-time. Holland and Woodham, the players waiting behind this free kick. And it's Woodham to take. And it's Corrales who makes contact with her head to take it away. Ball now with Woodham. From Fisk to Clark. Agano just rolls away from Capox. Lette's ball forward, ends up going out of play. What has he seen from his side in the first 40 minutes of this game?
Well, you can see he's getting frustrated on the sidelines. Looks like he's shouting at the players, and you've just got to be careful as a manager, because if you keep getting on the players' backs and keep shouting negative instructions, it can have the opposite effect. So I'd be interested to see what his half-time team talk is like. I think they certainly need something, don't they? They just haven't performed this first half. They're making silly errors, passes just going out of play. Not looking very confident at the minute, London City, but it would take a good half-time team talk, I think, for the manager to get them motivated and just getting a bit of composure back on the ball.
Ball is with Aslani. Mike be able to cut this back. Stopped by McLean. That's an interesting insight there, that you shouldn't just sort of shout things at your players, because so many coaches do that.
Yeah, you know, as a player, you don't mind, obviously, if you get told instructions, but it gets to a point where if it's too much, you know, players are experienced enough to should be playing their own game and knowing what the tactics are. But I think as a player, you can maybe get frustrated if it's just constant bombardment of information from the manager on the sideline.
It will not have the desired effects. But both head coaches will be thinking about their half-time team talks. Also, sure we will see changes to both of these 11s during the course of the second half. Gina Fernandez, a player who came to London with experience of playing with Barcelona. It's a pretty decent education. Woodham is looking to see who to throw this to. If in doubt, look for Kerry Holland. Lenari. Caraes. Out from Fisk. Liverpool just happy to pass this ball until that half-time whistle goes.
Yeah, I think obviously Liverpool have had most of the possession, but I don't think neither team have created many clear-cut chances. We actually had a shot on goal yet, I'm not too sure. I don't remember having to say that either goalkeeper had to make a save. So it's all well and good having the majority of the possession, but you know, in that final third they really need to try and create some more clear-cut chances, because London City are a hard defence to break down anyway, the likes of Sangare and Lenari. But yeah, it's all well and good having the possession, but just need a few more shots to test the keeper a little bit more.
Yes, it has been a first half with very few real chances. I think the best chance for either team saw an offside flag being raised.
Yeah, no shots on target for either team.
Well, it might not surprise you to learn that Liverpool haven't managed to keep a clean sheet the whole of this season, along with West Ham. So London City might think, they might expect even, to score a goal in this game.
London City, they're renowned for scoring quite a few goals in the last 15 minutes of games, so certainly if they bring on some fresh legs, I think there's potentially the chance of doing that. But Liverpool will absolutely want to hold out for their first clean sheet of the season, especially the new goalkeeper coming in. She'll be very pleased with that, won't she, if she can be the goalkeeper to bring, or help bring Liverpool their first clean sheet.
Sangare comes across. And we are heading into the last minute of the first 45. We think there's likely to be just 1 minute more added on. And across to Shimizu. A slip from Capox, but now Liverpool have it back with Bergstrom. It's a lot for her to lose her balance, doesn't it, Bergstrom? She's been really strong down that wing.
Yeah, she looks solid. You know, she's got a physical presence, not scared to dribble and drive and try and commit players. But yeah, I think she's had a real positive debut so far. I've been really impressed with her. You know, working hard, as I say, not scared to dribble and drive, and she's created a couple of opportunities for Liverpool.
With Clark. Knocked out by Lionesses. As we head into that 1 minute of stoppage time at the end of the first half. Goes out for a goal kick. Getting some advice from his coaching staff. Both head coaches will be doing that. They'll be crunching those numbers. To be done perhaps in the second half to turn what is currently a point into 3. Clark with the clearance. Brought down by the chest of Aslani. Driven in. And the block that takes it out will be the last act of the first half here at St Helens Stadium. And in a first half of very few chances for either side, the team bottom of the table, currently holding a side under a new head coach to a goalless draw. At the break, it is Liverpool 0, London City Lionesses 0. Aslani, I'm sure, will be hoping that her team can improve in this second half. Goalless after a first half in which neither side had a shot on target. But it has been 18 matches since Liverpool last kept a clean sheet in the league. They are the side on 3 points after 11 games played of this WSL season. And they were beaten very heavily by Chelsea in the League Cup. That was actually their last game, Liverpool, before the winter break. Following that draw against West Ham in the league, 9-1, the loss against Chelsea in the League Cup. Yeah, the ball is with Sangare. She picked up a booking in the first half, forward by Linare. Liverpool, as you would expect, are in their reds. London City Lionesses in a purple. Your referee is Phoebe Cross, and she blows her whistle for the first time in this second half to give the home side a free kick inside the centre circle. Liverpool captain back from that injury, advances forward. Capox is racing to try and get onto the end of that pass, but comfortable collect from Lette in the London City Lionesses goal. No changes at half-time for either side, Keris, but I'm sure both head coaches will be planning to freshen up their 11 during the course of this second half.
Yeah, definitely. I think managers tend to make subs in and around the 60, 70-minute mark, so I'll be very surprised, certainly if it remains goalless, that there's no substitutions. I think certainly for London City, you know, they've got some real firepower on the bench. Liverpool might do that as well, or they might just sit to play for the draw, though based on their performance so far. I think they should try and go for the win and go for the 3 points, which ultimately they have to do if they want to move up a place in the league. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see some changes at some point in the second half.
Well, the highlights of the first half were essentially highlights of Alice Bergstrom on her debut. So maybe it is Eder Maestra who is the more concerned of the head coaches.
that him? We can hear him shouting on the
Probably.
sideline. He's very vocal, isn't he? He's encouraging the team to just go for the press, which I said in the first half they weren't really doing. They weren't aggressive enough and pressing Liverpool. I think that's what worked for them in the first half of the season was that pressure. And yeah, certainly with the likes of Liverpool, you would have thought maybe before the game they might be lacking confidence, so you've got to go and press them, but actually they've been very confident on the ball and have made it difficult for London City to even get near them.
Forward from Gayaro to Nikita Paris, a Liverpool-born player in this London City Lionesses side. Now Corrales. Gayaro. Aslani over Paris. Jana Fernandez, who was up from the back, couldn't get her head to it either. Might roll out off Fisk. It's Nagano who's able to find Holland on the Liverpool left. It will take time, clearly, for a head coach to put his stamp on a team.
Yeah, it takes time, and I think with any change it can maybe be a little bit unsettling for the players, and like you say, it just probably not going to flow straight away, certainly if he's maybe implemented some new tactics that are different to what they were using in the first half of the season. So I think that's quite evident today. London City haven't really got into a flow. They look a little bit disconnected. I think it just takes time, isn't it, with any change, whatever team it is. It just takes some time.
Well, Nikita Paris had said that they had a few more minutes than usual on the training pitch because of the new head coach. Obviously, he wanted to see what he had to work with, and he also, I'm sure, wanted to put across some of the changes he wanted to make. Forward from McLean. Fernandez able to shield that ball from Holland. Corrales. Aslani turns it back to Linari, who scored the winning goal in the reverse fixture of this game. So Jenna Clark and Nikita Paris have a bit of a conversation, and Liverpool get a free kick. I was just going to mention that Linari's penalty to win the game for London City Lionesses in the reverse fixture was scored in the 89th minute of that match. So if that is replicated today, we might have to wait until quite late for a goal to be scored in this game.
I think Liverpool have had the better half, but it's been quite an equal game. I think London City, start of this half, have had a bit more possession, and yeah, it sounds like it's emulating the game from the first half of the season, with both teams being quite equal. Yeah, maybe we'll see some more action in the latter stages of the game.
1-0 defeats London City Lionesses in their last two league fixtures, but a 3-1 away win against Aston Villa. Before that, Kumagai with a couple of goals in that game. Izzy Goodwin, who's on the bench today with the other goal in that game. One back by Gayaro, who swapped one rather nice city for another rather nice city. I'd happily live in either, I think. Maybe I'll choose Barcelona as my other one. Forward from Sangare. Comes to McLean. finds Bergstrom. This is promising from Liverpool. She tries to chip it in at the far post. Well, that didn't look too far away. On her debut, Alice Bergstrom tantalisingly close to putting Liverpool ahead here.
Yeah, it's a real good chance for Bergstrom. It's a shame it didn't go in, because I think she's been deserving of a goal based on her performance so far. Again, I'm not sure, is it a shot, is it a cross? I think she's maybe got caught in two minds again. I think she just needs to be a bit more ruthless, you know, when she's in and around the 18-yard box. Just have a go, you know, I know it was a bit of a tight angle, but you know, we haven't really tested the keeper yet, so yeah, good opportunity. Well, maybe she was going for the chip in the far corner, I can't tell, but yeah, real good opportunity there for Bergstrom.
Here with McLean. Forward again for Liverpool. Poked by Capox. Pulled wide by Sangare. London City Lionesses defence having to do a little bit of work here. You wouldn't know at the moment that Liverpool were a team that had only collected 3 points, would you? They feel like they're playing with a fair bit of confidence, even though it is still goalless.
Yeah, they are. I think they've had good possession of the ball. You can see they're working hard, closing down, trying to win it back. So no, I've really been impressed with Liverpool so far this game.
Pass finds Kumagai, now with Zlani. Forward from Kumagai. Kurias is the player who advances into the Liverpool box and I think had every intention of winning her team a corner. What were we saying about set pieces earlier in this game?
Yes, London City really need to make the most of this. I think this is the first clear opportunity they might have on goal. Here's this Bergstrom chance again.
I think she was trying to get that into the top corner.
Yeah.
And what a goal it would have been. It would have been a debut to remember. Still time, only 10 minutes into this second half. She'll have other opportunities, but now it's a corner for the visitors. Aslani, the captain, to take. Sangare drops down at the near post. I think the suggestion is that maybe there was a little push on the London City Lionesses defender.
Well, they've stopped it for a head injury, but she's almost caused the head injury to herself. Yeah, I think there was a push in the back, which has caused her to head the ball off the top of the head, I think, rather than the forehead. I think she'll be okay.
"19 years old, the London City Lionesses loanee, winner of the under-17 Euros with France. And this a chance for the new head coach to share a few observations early in this second half. So just checking on Sangare. It didn't look like the kind of knock that will mean that she has to be replaced, or that there's any concern about her ability to continue in this game. So 5 shots for the home side to just 1 for London City Lionesses. None of those on target yet. Liverpool with just slightly more possession than the visitors. I think that statistic might well have changed in this second half. I felt that Liverpool had a lot more of the possession in the first 45. They're on the ball at the moment as well. It's a cross that comes in. Few boos for Nikita Paris as she gets onto the ball. Karius with the throw. Back to Guiaro. Now it's rolled square. Garno gets the ball back. London City are having to sit back and defend their 18-yard box at the moment. And Liverpool decide to retreat in the end.
Yeah, they're just keeping possession, aren't they? Yeah, we were talking earlier about the possession stats. I think, yeah, it's definitely changed in the second half. It would have been interesting to see the statistic at the end of the first half. I think definitely would have been more in Liverpool's favour, but fair play to London City. They've come back in the game a little bit more, just trying to keep possession, but Liverpool now are trying to find their feet again in this last few minutes. I think for both teams, they just need to try and get more possession. That's the only way you're ever going to create chances, is by actually possessing the ball. So I think that's the target for both of them, just to try and get back on the ball and get a bit of momentum in their favour.
It looks like Liverpool are going to make a change, and it's a defensive change that they're making, I think, by the looks of things. To remind ourselves that Liverpool have scored 8 goals in total this season, and 5 of those goals were scored by Olsen, who is out with an injury at the moment.
Yeah, it's a big loss, Olsen. Enderby's been playing up top, but she's not really an out-and-out striker or goal scorer. She's more of a winger or a 10. So, Olsen's a big loss for Liverpool. Hopefully she can come back sooner rather than later, because, yeah, as you say, she's had the most goal contributions for the team.
Here Enderby scored her first ever WSL goal in that game against West Ham. And it's Lucy Parry who's coming on. So as we reach the hour mark, the home side's going to make a change. Throw finds Holland. It's a push or two on the back. Understandably, the referee blows to say that will be a free kick, and now it looks like both teams are going to be making some changes, and I think Izzy Goodwin is one of those, by the looks of things, for London City. So, change made by the home sides, and Risa Shimazu is the player who comes off, and Lucy Parry comes on in her place. So that's the change made by the home side, and I think we may see sometime quite soon a couple of changes made by Eder Maestro as well.
Yeah, London City definitely need to make a change. I think they've only had one attempt on goal. At least with Liverpool, they've had some attempts and chances, not many on target. But yeah, I think there's definite changes needed, because one attempt on goal is just not enough for London City.
Here it's with Godfrey, tries to thread it to Paris. Fisk with the interception, now back into midfield. Guiaro to Kumagai. Back into Kumagai from Karius. She then gets the ball back. Now with Linari. Izzy Goodwin, one of the 2 changes that London City will hope to make. And those changes to be made now. And Nikita Paris is one of the players who's coming off. And Freya Godfrey is also making way. So Izzy Goodwin comes on. And I think Maria Perez is the other player who's come off the bench.
Yeah, I think Paris and Godfrey have been quiet, but they just haven't really had the ball. You know, they haven't been supplied by their teammates to be able to create any chances. So, yeah, I think a good opportunity for Goodwin and Perez to come on and try and have a real impact.
Well, Liverpool fans booing Nikita Parris because they will have seen her score against them 9 times in the Women's Super League. She was, if she had scored today, would have joined Jordan Nobbs and Bunny Shaw in scoring 10 times against Liverpool. To confess, I heard the stadium announcer suggesting that Freya Godfrey was coming off the pitch. But it's Rodder who's made way for Maria Perez. And Freya Godfrey is on the ball as we speak. Wins the corner, or does she?
Came just back off of there, unlucky. She had a good run, and that's what Freya Godfrey's good at. She's good at being direct, using her pace, driving to the byline, but just unfortunate there as it's come off. Fisk, it's just bounced off her. But I think London City, yeah, need to get players like Godfrey on the ball. You know, I watched her recently against Tottenham, and she was really effective. She was player of the game. You need to get her out wide with her pace, taking on players and getting crossed into the box, whereas London City haven't done that today. They haven't supplied her with the ball enough.
I think both of the goals in that game were pretty good, weren't they? Here it's back with Parry and Aslani. London City captain, surprised to see a flag being raised by the referee's assistant. Well, Jocelyn Preshaw said that he was surprised by the speed of the Women's Super League and the significant change in pace from what he had been used to with his side in the Championship, now WSL 2, of course. I wonder if the new head coach is equally surprised by the pace of the top flight in English women's football. He would have had to play against Barcelona, Real Madrid, for example. I think he'd be used to, well, certainly would have come up against some rather challenging opponents.
I think the Spanish league is technically up there amongst the best, but I agree. I think the physicality and the speed of play now of the WSL and players in the league is definitely advanced, and maybe something that, yeah, he might be able to get used to, and also the players as well, because there's been a big influx, certainly for London City, of foreign players coming into the league, and it's probably a increase in speed and technical ability than what they've been used to. So, like with any players coming in, it just takes time to adapt, doesn't it?
Linari goes into the book, carried on nibbling at Cornelia Capox, to the extent that she is shown a yellow card. Comes to Capox. The block there is by Linari. Now would amount to Holland. Holland hoping to find Bergstrom. Now it's with Parry. Parry's able to put the cross in. Linari with the header away. Forward from Clark. Lucy Parry, the change that Gareth Taylor made in this second half, a player who missed some of the season with a thigh injury, but had started the last 3 WSL games for Liverpool. Talking about longevity with players, a player who's been at Liverpool since she was 7. Liverpool number 2.
Oh, it's nice story. It's good to see that, you know, some youngsters who've been there a long time at the club are getting the opportunity. And, you know, sounds like she's a Liverpudlian through and through. So it's nice to see players get rewarded for their hard work and break through into the first team.
With Woodham. Holland versus Jana Fernandez yet again. That has been a battle throughout this game. The referee has to step out of the way of a pass on its way to Nagano. Now it's with Bergström. Can she score from here? Well, Linari gets her calves in the way. It will go out for a Liverpool corner.
Yeah, good patience there from Liverpool. Thought Nagano might have taken the shot, but it wasn't a clear chance at goal. And she's found Bergström cutting this side on the left foot, and you can see what she's trying to do, just trying to drill it into that bottom right-hand corner. But Linari found herself in the right position and, yeah, deflected out for a corner for Liverpool.
She wants a goal on her debut, Alice Bergström. Corner then for the home side as we head towards the last 20 minutes of this game. It'll be Woodham to take. And Elena Lette says, nobody's going to get that ball but me.
Yeah, there's a good collection there. Lily Woodham probably needed to get it in a little bit deeper. There weren't many Liverpool players at the front post, but Lette does well there just to collect it above her own defender.
Sangare. Now to Godfrey. Godfrey's able to roll that ball in. Might come back to her. Now it's with Fernandez. Fernandez. Well, Jenna Clark made sure that didn't find its way to Izzy Goodwin, who was just behind her.
Yeah, it was an important interception there from Jenna Clark, and initially from Grace Fisk as well. There was a couple of London City players just waiting in the box to get on the end of that. So, yeah, real crucial interceptions there from both Fisk and Jenna Clark.
Forward from Linari.
Lana's done that a few times now. She's just playing the long ball, but it certainly wasn't working with Paris up top in the first half. I know Izzy Goodwin's tall, but it's very difficult just to bring the ball down and play from there, certainly when she hasn't got many players around us. I think London City just need to try and stay a bit more composed on the ball, string some passes together. So that was what the games I've seen in the first half of the season they were really good at. Sometimes just rushing to the outcome a little bit in today's game.
We'd already mentioned how tall Jenna Clark is, but Izzy Goodwin's probably equal to her in terms of height. Now Corrales. Taken out by Fisk, helped back to her feet by a goalkeeper.
And again, another important interception there from Fisk. Goodwin was right behind her. She's done well there. Just get across and get a body in the way and clear it out for a corner.
So, latest corner for London City Lionesses. Rolled short by Aslani. She gets it back to chip into the 6-yard box. It finds a Liverpool head. Now with Woodham, who was brought down. The referee, though, plays on. Ends up going out of play. Little run from Godfrey. Brought down by Asllani, but lots of Liverpool players around her. Back to Linari. Forward from Parry to Bergstrom. Rice has to take that out. It'll be a throw-in for Liverpool, heading into the last 15 minutes of the game at St Helens Stadium.
Wonder if we will see a late goal. We were talking about it earlier, weren't we? It's not looking likely at the minute. Again, both teams aren't really creating too many chances. It seems to just be breaking down, you know, once the ball does get into the final third for both teams, but you never know. There's still 15-20 minutes to play.
Well, the closer we get to the 90th minute, I'll start asking you which head coach will be happier with a goalless draw, or where that late goal might be coming from. Another change to be made by London City, and he's looking frustrated at the moment, perhaps understandably. The visiting head coach. I'm sure he would have looked at today's opponents, Edel Maestro, and he might have thought, OK, we're playing a team at the bottom of the table that can't win games. Maybe this will be a good place for me to start in my new role. So Freya Godfrey is off now, and it's Sani Franci who's the player who comes on for her.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is correct. You know, Heidi Castro will have looked at this game as a must-win, really, but then with that comes that added pressure. You know, the pressure of winning, pressure of, as a new manager, getting your first win, and whether that's maybe rubbed off a little bit today, not too sure. Pressure on the players to get a win for their first, the new manager against bottom of the league. So, yeah, I think it's just not that easy. It's not as easy as going and away from home to beat the bottom of the league. There's other factors that can come into play.
Here it's with Capox. Perez can't stop her advancing. Squares the ball. It will come out to Holland, who strikes it wide. Another player out there for Liverpool, probably deserving at least of requiring a save from the London City Lionesses goalkeeper.
Yeah, it was a good break there from Liverpool. Good first-time pass from McLean to try and get Holland on the ball as early as possible. I thought she might have done better there, but just leant back a little bit. Yeah, real good opportunity there. And like you say, I think Kerry Holland, as well as Bergstrom, are definitely deserving of a goal or an assist today. Yeah, I think she'd be disappointed she didn't get over that one a little bit more.
Here it's with Asllani. Harry just holding on to the London City captain. Linari to Sangare. Perez. Early touch from Franci. Newest change for London City Lionesses, a player who's won the league in Finland, Italy and Denmark. It's the kind of quality and experience that London City Lionesses have been able to purchase Here it's with Bergström. Bergström, this time that was definitely a cross rather than a shot. I think Jana Fernandez, is she saying she was pushed?
Yeah, I think so. Great whip ball in. Those balls right across the 6-yard box are really difficult as a defender to deal with, certainly when you're facing your own goal. But I think Fernandez got lucky there that Kerry Holland did put her arms into her back, and she did well to win a free kick. But again, another great ball whipped in there from Bergström. That would have been a nice combination, wouldn't it? Bergström to Kerry Holland to get on the end of it. I think those two have played really well this game, and as we mentioned earlier, both deserving of getting something for the team out of the game today.
Aslani. To Karais. Forward from Linari. Linari was down on her knees, got back to her feet. Eventually the referee will blow her whistle. 10 minutes left to play. Player Linari, the Italian international, part of the team of the tournament last summer's Euros. Now with Sangare. Fernandez able to keep the ball in play. Goodwin tries to get her head to it, just rather skimmed off her head rather than getting the contact she wanted.
I thought initially the ball might have gone out. Fernandez did well to get on the end of it, but didn't know if it crept out. I think if that had gone in, then I don't know, it's close. But she does really well to keep it in, and a little chip dink in, but Goodwin did what she could, but just couldn't quite get her head on it, make full contact. Yeah, initially a really good ball in from Sangare in behind, and Fernandez does well there to get a crossing.
Better movement though from London City Lionesses in this second half, starting to at least start to create those opportunities. However, Jennifer Falk in the Liverpool goal has not been required to do a great deal so far on her debut. She just goes to collect the ball from behind her goal.
Yeah, I don't think before the game Falk would have thought she'd be so quiet. So I think she will really be pleased with how it's gone so far. Certainly if she does keep the clean sheet, she'll be a happy goalkeeper.
FA Cup action for both of these sides before their next WSL fixtures. Liverpool away against London Bees. London City Lionesses have a trip to Sunderland. Then Liverpool will be at home against Tottenham. London City Lionesses at home against Manchester City, the league leaders for them after this trip to Liverpool. At the moment, they are going to fail to score for a third successive game. And Liverpool are going to keep their first clean sheets of this Women's Super League season. 7 minutes, though, plus stoppage time remaining. And that Linari goal from the penalty spot in the reverse fixture did come with just 1 minute left of the 90. Price, well, she did well to keep the ball in play, but then couldn't keep up with it, really. It'll go out for another goal kick. She's probably tired. I think the other players who've been out there for 84 minutes are starting to feel a bit fatigued now, aren't they? And both head coaches will be starting to think about what they can do in these last few minutes. Is he happy to get a point from a 0-0 here against London City Lionesses? Or with Liverpool probably having the better of the chances, might he rue the opportunity to get all 3 points in this game?
You'd have asked him before the game. I think an honest answer would have been that, yeah, he'd take a draw against London City, but based on the performance of the players today, I think they, yeah, have created the most chances. They're deserving to at least get 1 goal. Yeah, he's not really making any changes up top. I'm looking at the bench, and yeah, I'm trying to find a bit of inspiration of where that goal might come from. So he might just have to rely on the players that are out there at the minute to try and score that goal. But with the likes of Holland and Bergstrom, you know, they've been really impressive today. Let's see if they can try and muster something and clinch something at Liverpool in these last final few minutes.
Well, they've almost run out of forwards, haven't they, Liverpool, just with the players that are missing through injury. It's with Linari into the last 5 minutes. It's 7 attempts to the home side to 1 for London City Lionesses with 5 minutes left to play. And another change will be made by Eder Maestra when the opportunity arises. Throw-in finds Goodwin. Away by Clark. Now with Karias, both head coaches on the edge of their technical areas. Sangare. Away by Fisk.
There's a few tired legs out there, isn't there? Both teams just trying to force it and making some sloppy passes. It is difficult, certainly coming back after the winter break when you've not had those match minutes in a while. It can always be difficult, and their players just finding their feet again. But let's see if Poppy Pattinson can come on and add some fresh legs to the London City team.
So a change that sees Karias come off, and Poppy Pattinson is the player who comes on with just a few minutes of the 90 left to play. Former Sunderland, Man City, Bristol City and Everton, which is possibly why there are a few boos as she made her way onto the pitch. This is her 3rd appearance as a substitute. Her first appearance since the 9th of November for Poppy Pattinson. And she's on the ball now, Pattinson. Decent ball in from that left-hand side. Home fans encouraging their team forwards. Pattinson's up and down this wing. Some fresh legs from the substitutes.
She was always going to win the race there, wasn't she? I think Parry's tried to play Bergstrom in behind, but she's worked tirelessly, Bergstrom. She's still working right to the end, but it's difficult when you're trying to be in a foot race against someone who's literally just come on in the last 2 minutes, but she's still going now, attacking where she can.
Well, a point for Liverpool would not move them above West Ham in the table, but would mean that they were just 1 point behind the side in 11th place in the table, and Everton 4 points above them if the scoreline stays like this, in 10th place. Goodwin tries to get there. Fisk, though, is there first. Now back to Goodwin, Gaoro. Shot is blocked, comes back to Pattinson. Now out to Aslani. Aslani plays a ball in. It's punched away by Falk. We're into a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time.
That was a clever foul there by Perez. I think she knew exactly what she was doing.
Yeah.
Kerry Holland did really well to get away from her and use her pace to get past her, so yeah, took one for the team there, I think, and a tactical challenge to make there from Perez.
So just over 2 minutes left. And having not had a great deal to do on her debut, making sure that she remains alert, the Liverpool goalkeeper, to any late threat from this London City Lionesses side. Pull by Parry there. Just, I think, made sure that she was out of... oh, maybe not. I was going to say, maybe she's going to get away with that one, but she is shown a yellow card by the referee for that pull on a London City shirt. Again, it's one of those that she will take, won't she, the Liverpool defender, to see this game out. Free kick to be taken by Linare. And the Liverpool defence just make sure that that bounces once on its way back to their goalkeeper. Is she going to hold on to this for as long as she's allowed? I did wonder where this ball was going to go from the Liverpool goalkeeper.
Yeah, hold it up for a little bit and then just boot it towards the corner, or I think she was trying to find Kerry Holland there, wasn't she?
.30 seconds left. Free kick for Liverpool. Late on here. It'll be left foot Lily Woodham to take. Several players leapt for it. Jenna Clark, understandably, up from the back, was one of those. Alice Bergstrom up there as well. And those 3 minutes have been and gone. Looks as if the new head coach for London City Lionesses will have to make do with a point from a goalless draw in his first Women's Super League game in charge. Goal kick from Lete will be the last action of this game, and it finishes with a goalless draw between Gareth Taylor's Liverpool and Edda Maestra's London City Lionesses. that the first clean sheet that Liverpool have kept this season, that the third game in a row in which London City Lionesses have failed to score. Very few real chances for either side. The points shared in the end. Liverpool will remain bottom of the Women's Super League, but just a point behind West Ham. It's finished Liverpool 0, London City Lionesses 0. Well, the two sets of players shaking hands with each other. The coaching staff coming onto the pitch as well. Some slightly glum faces perhaps from that London City Lionesses team, and as we've been suggesting in commentary, Keris, that they would have maybe looked at where Liverpool were in the table and thought that this would be somewhere that they could go and get something other than the 1 point. They, I'm sure, would have been hoping for all three.
No, definitely. I think they would have saw this as a must-win game. Certainly coming in after the break, trying to get themselves 3 points after a couple of disappointing results before Christmas break against Leicester and Brighton. So yeah, I'm not surprised that all the faces look pretty glum. You know, certainly the manager looked frustrated at the end of the game, and yeah, I think it was a frustrating performance. Certainly that first half, London City just weren't at it at all. I think in the second half they had a bit more possession and created a few more chances, but you know, the fact there was no shots on goal, you know, that's a statistic that they definitely won't want to see, but they'll have to reflect on it and look at what they can do better, because yeah, for me it wasn't a typical London City performance that we might have seen earlier on in the season.
Yes, if you're at all surprised that it ended in a goalless draw, that's because there were no shots on target. As you say, maybe more surprising from a London City Lionesses point of view, just purely because Liverpool had lost, obviously, their most prolific goal scorer, and you would have thought under those circumstances that London City Lionesses could take advantage of that. But yeah, I think Liverpool probably looking most likely of the two, certainly Alice Bergstrom on her debut. So let's just remind you of how this goalless draw played out. And Bergstrom on her debut, collecting a pass from Capox that rolled right across the London City Lionesses goal mouth. She was played in again, but this time the legs of the London City Lionesses goalkeeper stopped her attempt. Also the flag raised by the referee's assistant. Then how close was this to going in for Bergstrom? The space to try and chip it in at the far post. And another chance as she rolled it onto her left boot. This time Linari's calf's in the way to take it out for a corner. As for London City Lionesses, this probably among their best opportunities late on, but Grace Fisk on her return from injury for Liverpool, the captain, throwing her body in the way of a cross from Kiraez. And Capox encouraged forward, as it was Kerry Holland who struck wide for Liverpool in the closing stages. No shots on target means 0-0 at the end of 90 minutes here. But I think if you were going to choose a player of this match, I think it would either be Alice Bergstrom or Kerry Holland for me.
Yeah, I think I would have given it to Bergstrom on a debut. I think she created the most chances, had a couple of shots. I know we spoke earlier about London City coming here and expecting to win, but we've got to give full credit to Liverpool. They've really come out, and first game of the new year looked like a different team, and I think that's really hard to do when you sit in bottom of the league and you've had such a bad time with it in the first half of the season. So full credit to the players, certainly the new girls coming in, Bergstrom and Falk as well. Although she didn't have much to do, still when she was required she punched it away and looked comfortable on the ball. So yeah, we have to forget to not give credit to Liverpool. They came out and they were the better team, and they deserved something out of this game. So I think they'll be really disappointed not to get something.
Let's hear from the Liverpool captain, Grace Fisk.
Grace, 0-0, but a clean sheet and first minutes for you since coming back from your injury. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I think it was a tough game back. Obviously, we've had a little break and we've reset. I think for large parts of the game, we were the better team, especially the first half. We were disappointed to go in half-time 0-0, and we knew they'd come back out second half sort of fighting stronger than what they did. So, yeah, they had a bit of momentum in the second half, so at the end it was probably, a draw was probably fair. But I think first clean sheet of the season as well, which is what we've been struggling with, so it's something to build on from now, and we'll definitely look to kick on.
Perhaps a day where the glory was with all the defenders, but in terms of getting that first win, how much is that a pressure point for you and Liverpool?
Yeah, obviously it's something that we're aware of. I think there's been a lot of games where we feel we've actually had good performances. It is just the final piece. Like I say, that was our first clean sheet, so it's sort of the both boxes. We feel like in between both boxes we're pretty solid, but yeah, we just know what's missing at the moment is goals, but we're working really hard. We've obviously strengthened in the window, so we'll only build from now, and I'm totally confident it will come.
And on those new players, tell me how they've fitted into the squad. 2 debutants today, of course.
Yeah, Falky's obviously a really experienced keeper, which I think is what we've been lacking, to be fair, experienced winners. We're obviously quite a young team, and I'm leading, but I've never won anything in my career in that sense. So it's sort of, we needed experience, and Falky will give us, and Alice as well. She's a really, you can see, direct player, which again is what we've been lacking, like direct people who can create something out of nothing. So they've been really good, and they've mixed into the group really good. So yeah, we're excited for them to see how they kick on.
And you were excellent defensively today, so you are the Barclays Women's Player of the Game. Congratulations.
Cheers, thank you.
So these are the full-time scores after match day 12 of the Barclays Women's Super League. At the Emirates yesterday, it finished in a goalless draw between Arsenal and Manchester United. Aston Villa coming from behind to beat Brighton 2-1. Chelsea with a 5-0 win over West Ham. I think Chelsea took the lead in that game in the first minute against West Ham, who are under new management as well at the start of this new calendar year. The league leaders Manchester City beating Everton 2-0, and it was an Ashley Neville own goal on her debut for Leicester City against her former club Tottenham that meant that Spurs got the win in that game. And as we've just seen, the last match of the day has finished in a goalless draw between Liverpool and London City Lionesses. So this is how the table looks then after every team has played 12 games. Manchester City top of the table, 6 points clear of Chelsea in second place. Then Arsenal 4 points behind Chelsea in third, as are Tottenham. At the other end of the table, Liverpool with that point, just a point behind West Ham, who are in 11th, but they remain bottom. FA Cup action to come next for both of these sides. Then Liverpool will host Tottenham next on the 25th of January, and London City Lionesses at home against Manchester City. After it finished here, Liverpool 0, London City Lionesses 0.